The Girl on the Bridge by William Zeranski. "It's amazing. It's just amazing," she said, loud enough for a young man wearing an inexpensive blue suit and tie to stop and look too. He stepped next to the girl with the blue-green hair and one red shoe. She wore a patchwork coat and had a yellow duffel bag nestled between her feet. She stood near the center of the bridge on the pedestrian walkway and peered over the concrete railing into the chasm. He looked over. "It's amazing," she said. He didn't see what was amazing. The mid-morning sun revealed sharply sloping stony banks covered with tufts of yellowed grass, crooked trees slowly being stripped of leaves by the change of season, and a trickle of water working its way through the rocky crevice at the bottom. "Amazing," she said, this time in more of a whisper. He leaned further and then looked at the girl, his face contorted by puzzlement. The girl took note and said, "There." He looked again, following the direction indicated by her pointing finger. "The railroad tracks, see them?" She set her elbows on the surface of the railing as if peering through a microscope eyepiece. He scrutinized a moment. "Ah," he said, and nodded. Buried under tall dead grass, the unused track and the wood ties bleached by sun lay camouflaged by time. "They used to go somewhere," she said, a peculiar wonder in her tone. "People used to go somewhere." A gold charm of a rabbit dangled from the loop hanging from her earlobe. A breeze rolled through the ravine, brushing the grass and trees, striking the bridge in a chilly wave. Go west, young man," she said, and turned to him. A simple smile adorned her lips. "I read that somewhere, or I heard it. I can't remember. I don't know, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. Anyway." She studied him for a moment and said, "Your suit's rumpled." And it was. He could see the wrinkles as he looked down the length of himself. "Ah, yeah," he said. She nodded and looked out over the ravine and the cityscape on either side. The young man ran his hands over the fabric of his suit in a vain effort to press out the creases, and then stopped to set his elbows on the railing and gaze out. Traffic moved, cars hummed, trucks grumbled, pedestrians hurried in swift strides. A cold wind hit them, and the girl pulled the hood of her coat around her ears and said, "Why do we cross bridges? To get somewhere, right?" He nodded. "But what if we don't want to go?" Her eyes exuded something that haunts. "What if we get there and what's on the other side is all bad?" "Yeah," he said. In an early morning rush, he had dressed in the semi-darkness of his room for an interview for a job he really didn't want. The girl sighed heavily and said, "Wouldn't it be nice to burn the bridge before we even crossed it?" "Yeah." He seemed to nod with his whole body. A cold blast tore leaves from the trees. They whirled and danced and crashed to the ground when the wind died.